Now let's talk about FBI, the former FBI Director James Comey, and the shells, this nonsense. He's pleading ignorance after he apparently inadvertently put out this threat against Donald Trump, which was the 86-47, which some shells on the beach, which he claims that were there and he happened to photograph them. He's now denying any ill intention whatsoever. Have a listen.
What happened? You were walking on the beach and you saw this on the beach?
Yeah, my wife and I, Patrice, were walking on the beach and saw those numbers in shells on the beach. And
you didn't do this, somebody else did this.
Yeah, somebody else did it. We were on a walk preparing for this week, the rollout of my book.
You were back in the middle of a political firestorm.
Yeah, for walking on the beach with my wife. So I don't know how we ended up here. It never occurred to me that it was any kind of controversial thing, but that's the time we live in.
Let's firstly talk us through what 86-47 actually means for people who've been hiding under a shell for the last few weeks or last few days. But also, this bloke, Comey, I mean, seriously, the smirk and the silliness. He's got a book tour he's launching. Tell us about your take on it.
Sure. I mean, why he's still able to be out and about, free as a bird, enjoying walks on the beach with, as he emphasized multiple times, his wife is beyond me, is beyond most of the MAGA movement. I think this is one of those people that we have called time and time again, certainly to be investigated, if not to end up in prison for the crimes that he has committed, whether it was Russiagate, weaponizing the FBI, you name it. But to contextualize the idea of 86-47, this isn't some niche random assortment of shells, obviously, but more precisely, this is actually a sign, certainly here living in DC, that I've seen at dozens of anti-Trump protests. This is a very well-known kind of typical tactic that you'll see a lot of these left-wing protesters use to sort of euphemistically or clandestinely call for assassinating President Trump. But I think one thing really remains clear, like I was saying, the MAGA diehards, they have never been a fan of this individual. He's proving what we've always known, which is that the FBI is weaponized. But more importantly, that House Republicans, the Trump administration, DOJ needs to actually find accountability in the form of prison sentences and actually talking tough with these people, not just putting out strongly worded letters. That's what the people voted for President Trump for, and they want to see it happen.
Absolutely. And for those who aren't aware of it, 86 is kind of slang for eradicate, and 47 is obviously Donald Trump is the 47th president, so 86-47 means eradicate Donald Trump. And this bloke who was the head of the FBI pretends he doesn't understand that that's what it actually means. Now let's talk briefly, Natalie, about the legacy media's deplorable downplaying of Biden's decline during office. Now, Natalie, if you'd watched Sky News Australia, many of our shows, in particular Outsiders on Sunday morning, my show there, we've been for the last, since 2019, talking about Joe Biden's mental decline every single week. And Australian viewers have been in no doubt. So Australian viewers are very surprised that the Americans seem to be surprised by it. I know you weren't. And certainly have a listen to Andrew Neil, who's a well-known British commentator, suggesting that this cover-up of Joe Biden's mental decline was bigger than Watergate.
About Mr. Biden's ability to govern and to continue to govern for another 4 years, I think this was a cover-up of momentous proportions. I think it was even bigger than the Watergate cover-up.
He's not wrong, is he, Natalie?
No, not at all. And frankly, I'd broaden it out. It's not just a cover up of Joe Biden's health. I think it's a cover up of a lot of health issues, right? Whether it's the origins of COVID, a lot of the MAHA stuff, big pharma. I think time and time again, it really, I think, solidifies the question that if a whole entire administration and a media could get away with lying about the cognizance of an essentially dead president, what else could they lie to you about? But I really think if you get to the crux of it, something that people talk a lot about here in the States is the idea of that administrative state, that deep state, the permanent political class, where it doesn't matter who the president is. These unelected bureaucrats will implement policies that they deem fit. And the fact that you could have had a president who was so mentally not there and mentally unwell, and this administration was able to wreak havoc, not just here, but abroad, it sort of confirms, I think, maybe it's confirmation bias of what a lot of the American people, what propelled them to vote for Trump, which is the rejection of this unelected bureaucrat class making decisions.
Natalie Winters, great to chat to you as always, and keep up the great work you do there, putting to shame the legacy media every single week, and that becomes more and more apparent.